have in fulfilling his legacy. Dr. King's words and actions inspired college students and faculty of all races to become active participants in bringing full and unambiguous citizenship to men and women of color. In the tense and often violent period between 1961 to 1968, to be fully engaged in civil rights struggle meant risking life and limb. And the example set by Dr. King and others, however, brought home the necessity of doing more than just denouncing racism in the confines of the classroom. At the point when Dr. King formed the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the American system of higher education had much to answer for when it came to the pernicious persistence of racism. Racism is born of ignorance and ill will that manifests itself in ignominy. Ignorance, ill will are the enemies of knowledge, civility, and human dignity. Public institutions of higher education, regardless of when they came into being, have ever pledged to be true advocates of knowledge, civility, and human dignity. Some institutions, such as Ohio University, began admitting African American students in the 19th century. Over time, the admission of students, such as John Newton Templeton, to colleges and universities played a role in helping to create a core group of leaders who would pave the way for the movement led by Dr. King. Nevertheless, the shameful images of James Meredith being taunted as he arrived on the University of Mississippi campus under federal protection were not simply the result of the toxic racial climate that existed in the South. Those images were also the legacy of widespread complacencies by institutions of higher education in the face of discrimination. One day, I hope that you will visit the National Civil Rights Museum housed in the Lorraine Motel in Memphis. It was the Lorraine Motel on April 4th, 1968 that Dr. King was slain. Visitors to the museum are allowed to look into the room where he spent his final night. Through the windows is an unobstructed view of the balcony where Dr. King was mortally wounded. It is heartbreaking to stand in an ordinary motel room and look out on a place of such national tragedy. Dr. King was slain by an assassin's bullet propelled by ignorance and ill will. It is incumbent on us not to forget the sacrifices made by Dr. King and his followers, or to defer our obligations to battle discrimination in all of its forms, whenever, wherever, and however we encounter it.